In today's short pre-lecture video, I'm going to talk about how Korean traditions and Korean performing arts are visible and audible in K-pop.
When I discuss K-pop and tradition coming together, I think that it makes sense to divide it in these three different ways. K-pop can have a visual connection to tradition, often in the music videos. K-pop can also have an oral connection to tradition, where tradition is heard as an element or elements in a musical track. Sometimes this comes together with seeing tradition and sometimes not. The third approach is merging K-pop and tradition, where traditionally trained artists add pop elements or make their traditional music more pop-friendly. The interesting thing with K-pop incorporating visuals from tradition is that there's often no reason to have those visuals there. They are providing some sort of like exotic spice or some demonstratable cultural difference, like these Bukchung Saja in this video by Big Bang. So why are the Bukchung Saja there? Why are there Sangmo dancers together with Taeyang in Ringalinga? So the thing that we've seen in the last couple of years is that we've seen more stories that are connected to tradition, where traditional elements are more integrated into the music video itself. This video by ONEUS is a good example of this more integrated approach to tradition that we've seen recently, where we have a traditional film set, we have costumes which are somewhat hanbok-esque, and we even sometimes use dance motions that may be connected to tradition, such as the manipulation of the fans that you just saw. We've also seen a big shift in the way that traditional sounds come into K-pop. And so here I have just a selection which shows the year and the group and the song and how tradition comes in. So you can see the names of different instruments, which you learned earlier in the course, or you can see me making notations about Minyo lyrics or something like that. So let me give you a couple of examples, some older examples here. Here on this slide, we can see some of the more recent traditional sounds coming into K-pop. And you can see that, in fact, we're getting more and more releases among artists that might be termed major or significant artists with large audiences. And the ways that they're using traditional sounds is also shifting. So let's just give you a couple of examples here.
아이고 아이고
Yeah. Oh.
울고 깨기승을 부려 남쪽기승 되두려 치조라 짐새 범범범 뱀이 날아 들다가 말리라 범범범 기세가 난 다르구나 월려 범범범 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 범범범
머리로 범이 내려 앉아 막걸리 포름 저 벌릴 날이 많아 있어 봄 take a photo.
My last category is this idea of taking tradition because you have the training, because you know how to make traditional music, and adapting it to make it more pop, more for the contemporary era. Some groups are still keeping entirely to Korean traditional instruments and just rearranging the music in fun new ways.
아만세 오늘날에 영정마누라 내 바다가요 전하영정 지하영정 옥황영정 신선의 영정 영정마누라 오실적에 애호단년 이해년에 달에 월세 정월달에 달에 봉소 좋은 날입니다.
So why do we see more visuals than hear Korean tradition? Traditional artists who understand Korean traditional music are often seeking to create their own interesting fusion pieces. They aren't seeking to collaborate with the K-pop industry. On the other hand, if K-pop artists decide that they want to incorporate tradition, they have to find somebody who is trained well enough in understanding Korean tradition to be able to incorporate two types of music that are fundamentally different to each other. The instruments from Korean tradition are created for an entirely different scale. The tone is so different, and they're acoustic, and so it could be really hard to incorporate them into a K-pop track. When we do hear tradition incorporated, we often hear the taepyeongso, and one reason is because it's being played now with a computer plugin in most cases. Why are Korean artists now incorporating more and more aspects of tradition in their music videos and musical tracks? Well, certainly the fact that international audiences have reacted favorably must be part of it. At the same time, we have to recognize that traditional arts have long been treated as this resource for projecting Korean identity, and that they are entwined with tourism experiences and often promoted by the government. Unofficially, almost all of these K-pop artists are, 국가대표, and through that status, they have been called upon to showcase tradition. Some other artists may be truly inspired by Korean traditions, want to share these with the world, and perhaps want to answer back to things like accusations of Korean cultural appropriation. Each artist who incorporates tradition into their music or music video may be coming from a different motivation and may have different external pressures on them.